All right, welcome back. This is the introduction to Revelation. We're starting with chapters 4 and 5. They kind of go together. You can see color-wise. They're grouped together on their chart. This vision of God's throne and the seven-seal book being opened by the slain lamb. Let's take a look at the highlights. It's going to be a big transition in the perspective. We're talking about moving from what is to what will be. So even to John, of course, when we say what is, it was what was to us, looking back 2,000 years. But John had dictated and wrote down these letters to the churches, but now he's talking about the future. You'll note that the word church and the collective reference to believers no longer appears in the book, Revelation, and many cite this as proof of the rapture. See, the church isn't even mentioned. We're not even here. We've been taken up. And that proof of rapture, that concept of rapture, actually comes from Thessalonians. We'll cover that a little bit later. We're going to be introduced to 24 elders, and there's lots of speculation about that. Is that 12 tribes, the sons of Jacob, or is it the plus the 12 apostles? Is that the 24 elders that are seated there, kind of like the board of directors of heaven? And then there's lots of symbolism around gems and creatures and eyes and horns and seals, and we're going to take a look at what some of that might mean. Well, besides Revelation, we can get other views of heaven by reading these passages. Remember, Revelation's the last book of the Bible. It's one that, if you pick up and just start reading first, you're not going to understand it because of the number of references drawn from the rest of Scripture leading up to it. But in Isaiah, Ezekiel, Daniel, Exodus, Kings, Job, and Acts, you see these different settings, these descriptions of heaven. One of my favorite, of course, is at the very bottom, Stephen martyrdom, Stephen ministry, named after that martyr. He gives a wonderful summary of the entire Gospel, Old Testament and New Testament, just before being stoned to death. And as he's being stoned to death, he gazes into heaven and sees the glory of God and Jesus sitting at the right hand. So he's given this gift of this beautiful vision that he shared with us, and shows us that the kind of future we have waiting for us is the one that we all look forward to from this world transitioning into the next. So we have this beautiful description. There's an artist's rendition of what that throne might look like and the different colors that surround it. And each color specifically has a meaning. So we have jasper and carnelian, also called sardis, and the rainbow of emerald, not a rainbow of, Roy G. Biv, but emerald colors. And what can be read into that? We know that jasper can be clear, diamond-like, and it identifies this purity and holiness that surrounds God. And it also captures an attribute of Jesus. One of those attributes, of course, is that he is sinless and is the radiant image of God. That next stone, a deep red stone, shows, again, blood. The life of the creation is in the blood, and that sacrifice, redemption, Jesus is that redeemer through his sacrificial blood. And that green hue, we can see life, growth, the mercy, faithfulness that is in there. And Jesus is our mediator, still intervening to this day on the behalf of his creation, between the rightful punishment we all deserve and the mercy and grace that he's able to extend to us. We see another image of creatures, and these creatures, a man, a lion, an ox, and an eagle, all covered in eyes. So we're going to get an idea of these creatures. What can be read into that? Ezekiel had a similar view. He pictured creatures as well, and in Ezekiel's view, the idea was that each creature had each of the four heads, and in this view that John has, he pictures them as individual creatures. The eyes, of course, see, and the eyes know truth, and there's no hiding from it. When moms joke about having eyes in the back of their head, that means they know everything and can see everything. These creatures, of course, covered in eyes, know all. So wisdom and insight and truth is abounding in this circle of creatures that surround the Lord. Each individual creature can be interpreted a couple of different ways too. You have attributes of Jesus like the lion, where he is the Lion of Judah. And with lions, we see strength and majesty. And the calf, or ox, as it's called in different translations, we see kind of the one doing the hard work, the servant, the sacrificial offering. Man, of course, the pinnacle of God's creation, intelligent, compassionate. Jesus, took on that form as the Son of Man, breaking from, the oneness with the Father, and forever now being encased in this glorified body as man, as part of that redemptive plan. And of course, the eagle, to be exalted, flying high, heavenly perspective, sovereign, and he ascends and reigns. So we have those characteristics that, again, we might not see these creatures, but see these attributes of the Lord. What about those other characters? We have the seraphim, as referenced in Isaiah, and there is a little difference between the number of wings, but each wing has a purpose. So with one set of wings, they're covering their face, and it's because you can't look on God. He is so perfect and so holy. Even sinless beings are going to veil themselves. Our human characteristic today is, we meet the queen, we meet the king, we meet one who is victorious over us. We kind of look down, we lower our eyes, we don't make eye contact, and it shows that we respect the one we're gazing toward. So with awe and humility, these creatures surround the Creator. Covering their feet, what do the feet identify? I'm a lowly creature that has to walk on the ground. I'm not able to be, omnipotent, omnipresent like God. So I fall short of that, and I'm kind of unworthy to be before divine perfection. So covering your feet. And then those other two wings, active service. I'm flying around. I'm at, God's beck and call. I'm available for service, and it's perpetual that I'm willing to carry out God's will. So when we read about those creatures, again, think about the symbolism behind the attributes. We're introduced to the lamb here, and this lamb comes out. It's visibly, looks like it's been slain, but it's in good health. It has horns and eyes, and kind of takes the center of attention, and all the elders bow down before it. We'll read about the importance there. The horns show the strength and kingship. You're in charge. Because there's 7 of them, that's again a complete number, even though we'll see creatures in the future that have 7 horns as well. It is a perfect number in this case. And again, the multiple eyes show that insight, and it's the Lamb able to come forward and take the scroll. No one else is worthy to know the outcome of God's plan, to reveal God's final end of time plan, other than this creature, this perfect creature. So that comprehensive plan for judgment and redemption, that's what's in the scroll. We don't actually ever read what's in the scroll. We're not going to see what's in the scroll. We're just going to see the results of having it unfold, having it open. And there are some references to that in Ezekiel 2. The fact the scroll is written on both sides, there is nothing omitted. Every detail is going to be there. It is complete at a divine level. And we're going to see that from Exodus. It's one of the revelations that we learn reading Exodus versus watching the movie, is the tablets are actually written on both sides. We always think of Moses holding up tablets and written on a single side, but they're actually both sides are covered with God's commandments. The 7 seals, each seal on that scroll is important. We're going to see them opened and unfold different paths that God has intended, and it is sealed with, like a wax seal and a signet ring of human experience. It shows that it was, authorized by the appropriate authority and can only be opened by the one it's intended to be opened by. In Roman legal system, they used to seal last wills with 7 seals. So that idea that 7, this is the final document, makes sense. And of course, this sequence that we study when we read Revelation 6 through 8 is going to unveil what each of those seals imply. So lots of symbolic meaning, lots of information to take in the coming chapters.